Think of the tallest physical structure on Earth. Now compare that massive tower to a single piece of software that cost more than all that steel and concrete combined. To construct Dubai's Burj Khalifa, it took thousands of workers, millions of tons of concrete, and 6 years in the desert heat. The total bill for this engineering marvel came to $1.5 billion. But even that massive investment in physical infrastructure is being overtaken by a digital product you can play from your couch. Industry analysts estimate that Grand Theft Auto 6 cost between $1 billion and $2 billion to develop, making it the most expensive video game ever produced. Spending at this level means Rockstar Games is taking on the same financial risk as a developer erecting a landmark skyscraper in a major city. To see the scale of that budget, look at the biggest movies in history. If you combined the production costs of Avatar, The Avengers, and Star Wars, the total still wouldn't reach the budget of this one game. It leads to an obvious question. How does a company justify spending $2 billion on code, and how do they plan to get that money back? The answer lies in a 12-year development cycle, defined by record-breaking profits and massive technical delays. The story begins in 2013 with the launch of the previous game in the series, Grand Theft Auto 5. Within 3 days, the game hit $1 billion in revenue, setting a speed record that changed the industry. Because it stayed so profitable, the studio took 3 years for pre-production, with actual development on the sequel not starting until 2018. Then, suddenly, the project hit a wall. The COVID-19 pandemic forced thousands of developers into remote work, stalling the complex collaboration needed for a project of this size. Rockstar is also known for a focus on detail that most studios can't afford, requiring years of work on things like realistic lighting and the thousands of satirical billboards that populate their world. This combination of an enormous budget and a demand for perfection meant that by 2022, the game had been in development for years without the public seeing a single frame. That secrecy was shattered in 2022 when a hacker managed to penetrate the studio's private servers. They leaked 90 clips of early, unfinished game footage, causing a digital panic as the studio's private work was suddenly visible to the entire world. The hacker was eventually arrested, but the leak had already revealed the project's most guarded secrets. The footage confirmed the game would be set in a Florida-inspired region called Leonida and would feature the series' first female lead character. Although the footage was rough and clearly unfinished, the sheer number of unique locations and interactions revealed the massive scope that Rockstar was funding. With a $2 billion price tag and a decade of delays, many wondered if the project was too expensive to ever be profitable. But financial analysts see this as a safe bet. They expect the developer to recover that massive $2 billion investment almost as soon as the game goes on sale. This chart shows research from DFC Intelligence, predicting the game will bring in $3.2 billion in revenue during its first year. Roughly $1 billion is expected from pre-orders, paying off half the budget before it even launches. The level of anticipation has reached a point where the project is no longer a typical corporate gamble, but a predictable financial event. To maximize that return, the studio is increasing the price of the standard edition to $79.99, a notable jump for the console market. Across millions of players, that price increase generates hundreds of millions of dollars in extra profit, helping to offset the long years of development costs. Parent company Take-Two Interactive is counting on this. They've projected over $8 billion in total sales and revenue for 2027, with the majority of that growth tied to this one release. CEO Strauss Zelnick has admitted that while the project is exciting, the pressure of meeting these massive financial expectations is also terrifying for the company. That $2 billion investment represents a long-term strategy. Rockstar has spent a decade building a digital environment they expect will generate revenue through updates and player activity for the next 10 years.